Hello, friends. Hope you and your loved ones are doing good in these difficult times. The current pandemic has impacted almost all aspects of our life, and our education system, the way we learn and teach, is definitely not different. Now, last few months, I have spoken to many educators to understand how the pandemic has impacted them and how they have adjusted to it, what are the tools that they are using. And one obvious answer was, and which is known to all of us, that traditional classroom teaching has completely changed to online teaching mode. Teachers and students are learning and teaching through online media, which means technology is definitely a lifesaver. For a fact, before pandemic hit this world, only 3% teachers were teaching online. The number has now shifted to almost 100%, which means this crisis has also become an opportunity. We are now trying to leverage benefits of online teaching and trying to understand even in those remote areas where we were not able to reach earlier. Now all this brings to a question: what is going to be the future of education? And that's how most of the educators have started preparing themselves. Some of our educators are now looking at how they can adjust immediately and respond to the situation. Some of us are worried about what are going to be the changes in next probably 6 to 8 months. But most of us are also now thinking about how the future of education is going to be like. It was mainly offline not long back. Right now, it is completely online. Now, as per many experts, the future is going to be a combination of both these. It is going to be more blended. And that's why in this video, I wanted to cover about what are the essential aspects to be ready, both immediately, in short term, and also in long term. Now, right now, the requirement is for teaching online. And that's why I want you to cover about what are the essentials for effective online teaching. Now, most of the items that I've mentioned can be quite familiar to all of you. We obviously need a PC or a laptop to begin with. If we don't have a PC, we can also teach through mobile phone or tablets for sure. The second thing that we require is an internet connection, stable internet connection. And thanks to democratization of our internet connectivity, most of the students and teachers across not only India but world now have a good enough internet connection, a very decent internet connection. The third thing that we need is teaching applications that we use to explain concepts. So we have our Office suite where we have Microsoft Word, PowerPoint presentation, various whiteboard applications, Excel files. So these are the applications through which we both create content and teach. Once we have a PC in place, the device in place, a stable internet connection, applications, we require a media through which we are reaching out to our students. So we require conferencing applications. Now Zoom, Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Google Meet are some of the very famous conferencing applications. There are so many others. We also require web camera so that we can see our students can see us. And then we require audio mic so that we can, whatever we are speaking, students can listen to that, and then we can also listen to what students, if students have any question. But my focus today would be on the most important aspects of online teaching, and which is probably going to fill a very, very big gap. Interactive pen displays. Pen devices which bring in more interactivity to our overall teaching style. Now, to begin with, like I said, we have gone digital. In this pandemic, the only way to respond to this crisis is be digital and teach online. But in this time, we need to be more human. The human element cannot be compromised. And now we all know the educational value of handwriting. Since our childhood, our teachers have always encouraged us to write more, and they have always mentioned that when we write more, it reinforces our learning process. That's why I'm sure you all remember how many times you would have written a certain concept to memorize it, because when we write, it activates certain regions in our brains which are responsible for enhancing our thinking power, our memory, and some language capacity. It also activates certain neural points and unleashes creativity in our mind. So with all these points considered, we know that this online teaching way has made everything very personal. We can see students who are sitting in front of us. Students can see us through those web cameras and conferencing elements. But then the most important part of teaching, the human element, has become diluted because we are teaching through PowerPoints, or we are teaching through prepared notes. And when we explain them, we just talk. And when we just talk, the entire experience is not very natural because we are used to of writing on boards, and then we are used to of explaining it inside a classroom. Now, if you wish to, write through your laptop keyboard and mouse, that's not very intuitive. And that's why we need a digital pen, which is far more intuitive and probably can be a response to the problem that we face. This pen can help you to prepare lessons, on all the applications. The collaboration can be far more easier. The simulation and the collaboration with students can be far more easier, and this would result in far more efficient workflow for not only teachers but students and the entire system. Now let's try and understand how this helps. So the first step that a pen can do is help you to create your lesson plans. You can draw, you can write, you can draw images, you can have a concept explained by writing your notes. So you can probably write formulas with hand, and you will not use text. Now, as you know, when you write, it becomes students would be looking at the concepts where you have written, so you can emphasize certain points with your pen, you can highlight certain things while you are preparing a content, and then you can explain it inside a classroom. So let's say you have prepared something, you have highlighted, you have drawn diagram, and then when you are presenting it in a class, when you're presenting it there with your students, when you're teaching online, the entire session can be far more interactive because you have some pre-prepared concepts, and then you are explaining it. You are explaining why you highlighted this, so you can explain this entire part. Let's say I need to explain what is EMR. I can probably not just mention that this is electromagnetic resonance, but also explain what that is. And when I write, I explain, and this static document which I had prepared becomes more dynamic, and this document can speak for itself now. So I can, as an educator, you can write, you can explain, and you can take, whenever there's a question from students, you can respond that by writing. Now, when we use online media and these collaboration applications, most of these applications allow us to record our session. Now, this was not a case when we were using offline teaching mode, where when we teach in most of the classes, we were not recording those sessions. Now, when we record, our students have an option of going back and revising the entire concept, and this ensures that the overall outcome is going to be far more effective. Now let's see how this entire system works. So like I said, you require a PC. The PC gets connected to the interactive pen display, and once it is connected, the entire content of your computer is shown on this interactive pen display. Sorry. The entire content is shown on your interactive pen display. You can use any operating application. It can be Windows, Mac, or Linux. And then we require internet connection and a conferencing application to reach out to our students, and then we can use whatever applications we have to teach. We can use PowerPoints, OneNote, Whiteboard, or any application. When we do this, the input source is the pen. This is a substitute of keyboard and mouse, and then you can directly write, explain while creating your lesson plans or while teaching. Now you can also just flip the pen, and with some of the interactive pen displays, this is your eraser. You can erase whatever you have done. So let's say something goes wrong. You've been quite used to of using dusters. Just consider this as eraser as a duster. So now I also received some questions that when it comes to pen devices, why should we use a display unit, and why not just any ordinary pen tablet where we scribble and look at the laptop screen and write. Now when you do that, you compromise with the hand-eye coordination part, which is very, very important. If you see right now, I have connected my interactive pen display with my laptop, and I am not looking at my laptop screen. I'm only teaching through this or taking this presentation through my interactive pen display. And this entire experience is so natural. I can directly write. I can treat this as a piece of paper and directly write. So I don't have to be worried about adapting to technology. Educators are already doing a lot of learning and unlearning. Through this, we can ensure that they don't have to compromise on the content part, teaching part, by adjusting to technology. They can be as natural as they were. The device works with any operating system. You can have any operating system pre-installed in your PC. It works with all kind of softwares, very easy to set up. So like I said, educators have to focus on usage rather than compromising on the content delivery part. Now, some questions that I received was how it is more useful than board, and I wanted to cover this important point. Now, I will take both online and offline teaching style. So when you're teaching online, you're recording your sessions, you're writing on board. It can be both normal board or a smart board. But when you're writing, you're moving back and forth. And when you're writing, you're disturbing this view. When you're writing, you're disturbing the view of your audience. Not only that, you can't have an eye contact when you're writing. While compare this to an interactive pen display based teaching, when you're writing, you can look at your students through the camera. They can look at you. There's more eye contact, and that's why the concentration of your students would be more. They'll be better engaged, and the interactivity would be more. Again, you can use any application. So if it is a normal board, you just have to write it, wipe it off, and then go again. But here you can use any interactive application. You can be comfortably sitting at one place and teach, while here you'll have to be standing. There's a lot of movement, and that is a distraction. So that's why it can't, the camera also has to be adjusted to a certain portion of the screen. It can't capture the entire board screen, while your interactive pen display is completely mapped as per your laptop screen. So it should not be adjusted. Whatever you write here would be shown through your laptop screen. Now coming to, I have also received question about what should be the ideal size. Now that is a very personal, consideration. So the device that I'm using right now has 15.6 inches diagonal writing area with total 16 inches screen. The options which are available start from 10 inches because you require at least 10 inches device to move your palm freely while writing. Then you have 16 inches, 22 inches, and 24 inches. There are various functions and features in all these devices. So I want to cover that in a different video. I want to cover about all these devices in a different video, but this is how it would look. You have your PC connected with your device, and through this camera itself you can capture this entire thing. You write here, you look at your students look at you, and the entire teaching can be very normal. And like I said, various devices would have various features. So here I can just use the flip side of the pen as an eraser. I have various customizable buttons. So all this I wanted to cover in a different video. Today my focus was on how this entire thing is going to help us when we need to respond to this pandemic in short term, immediately, and also in long term when we shift to more of an offline teaching style, when we start using when we have students in class. So let's say this is our normal classroom, students are sitting there. We can use the same pen display, we can connect it with a projector or a secondary screen. The content gets projected here, and students will either look at us or as an educator, or will look at the content screen. So the same device can be used for both online and offline way of teaching. While this is not interactive or engaging right now, this might not be the same engaging and interactive in future as well when we are doing it. So that's all that I wanted to cover. Thanks a lot. If you have any question, do let me know. Thank you.